phone silent. I think we're probably streaming, but there is a bit of a delay. So
remember to record.
thank you. Oh, thank you very much. All right, we're at the top of the hour. And I know it's been a while since my face was being seen via this social Facebook. And I'm back again. You know, when I'm back and you see my face, it's something with a school somewhere across the globe that I'm going to be showcasing. And the last couple of weeks, we have been, or a couple of months, we've been focusing and highlighting Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. They're one of our newest schools listed on the CUPFEST International School Directory. And they're also listed on the Student Center Directory as well. And they're based out in Alberta. And it is really not my job to tell you about NAIT, since I've brought the professionals and the actual persons there to talk about NAIT to you. I'm Sheena, Caribbean College Planner and Advisor at the Student Center. You know, we bring schools from all over the world. Our job is to help you find, apply, and enroll in your chosen schooling program. Sometimes you hear it from us directly. Sometimes we bring the experts and the professionals to you. We're going to go do a little bit something different today. We are actually going to explore a particular field. We're looking at finance. We know that business is a popular area of interest among students from the Caribbean. Everybody wants to get into the world of business. We know all the benefits of doing so. And so we have three special guests with me this evening. We have Eden, who is no stranger now. She's a pro at this, joining me live. She's responsible for our region when it comes to international recruitment. Eden, thanks for joining me. She's based out there in Alberta in NAIT. We also have a special guest who is also a faculty at NAIT. He's part of the faculty in the finance department. We have Max joining us all the way from Argentina. Thank you, Max. I know there's a time difference, so we really appreciate you being here. He's the associate chair in the department at Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. And Max is specifically going to talk to us about the field of finance, the jobs related to the finance field, particularly looking at being a financial advisor or analyst. He's going to talk to us about the dynamics of that. And then he's going to focus on some programs that NAIT offers. And then our star of the evening is Rochelle Powell, who is from Jamaica and who is a student at NAIT. She's going to be talking to us about her experience, why she chose NAIT and Alberta specifically, and she's going to give us all the details and we're going to share in her experience. So for those of you who are thinking about studying in Canada, not sure which province, not sure which school at all, this is a good session for you. Those joining us in the Zoom, we thank you. Thank you for coming online. You can put your questions through the chat or the Q&A option. We will get to it as soon as we finish our sessions with each of our guests. And if you are peeping in on Facebook, you can feel free to leave us a comment or a question. Can't promise that we might get to them during the session, but you'll get to them at some point. Okay, so thanks for joining us. Eden, I'm going to hand over to you first.
Thank you so much, Sheena, and so good to be here again. It's very exciting. We're trying out this new webinar style and just inviting our guests, Max and Rochelle. And yeah, just to start off, I am going to start with our land acknowledgement first. So we honor and acknowledge that the land that NAIT learn, work, and live on is Treaty 6 territory, and we seek to learn from history and the lessons that have come before us and to draw on the wisdom of Canada's First People. So only through learning can we move forward in truth and reconciliation to a better future together. So this is acknowledgement that the place that NAIT is on is First Nations land and that we live on this land. So Sheena did a really great job introducing everything and our agenda for today, so I'm not going to go through it again, but it's really exciting for us that we have Max here today with us. He's been teaching at our School of Finance, our finance program at NAIT for over 11 years. Usually he is in Edmonton. He's just tuning in today from Argentina, but I usually see him around campus talking to students and other staff here. And then we also have Rochelle, and she's coming to us from Jamaica, but she is also currently now in Edmonton. She came here in 2021, actually. So it's only been a year and a little bit. She moved here with her husband and her daughter, and I'll let her share more about her story later as well. So really excited to have our two guests with us. So before we start in that, I just wanted to very briefly explain a little bit about NAIT, give a quick introduction of who we are. And so we're located in Edmonton in the province of Alberta. And without going into too much details about this province, just wanted to let you guys know it is a really great province to be living in. We have less taxes than most of the other provinces. We only pay a federal tax, so that means you save a lot of money by living here. Cost of living is lower, but the standard of living is still very high here. We have one of the highest minimum wages, as well as free healthcare for all residents who live in Alberta. So those are just a few of the benefits of living here in Alberta. And then very briefly about NAIT as well, we are a polytechnic located in Edmonton, founded in 1962. We are one of the largest polytechnics in Canada with over 40,000 students and over 2,200 international students from over 82 different countries enrolled. And we have a representation from many different parts of the Caribbean as well. We are one of the largest post-secondaries in Alberta and ranked third in Canada's top 50 research colleges and research income from partner organizations. What this means is that we have really close industry partnerships, and many of these companies, they like to give us income to do applied research for them. So that's where this ranking came from. We have helped over thousands of individuals develop successful careers with over 212,000 alumni. And these include business owners, filmmakers, Olympic gold medalists, science and engineering professionals, and many more. So NAIT has been around for a long time, and we have a really great reputation and foundation here, especially in Alberta. So the type of polytechnic education that we offer here at NAIT is a technology-based education with really close industry partnerships. So what you'll find for majority of our programs and our curriculum is that it is based on what the industry needs and driven by labor market needs and wants. You'll see that we have a lot of applied research and hands-on learning, and that can be seen later, as you can hear from the stories that Max and Michelle will be sharing with you in the way that we have our programs set up. So today in particular, we're going to be sharing about the industry of finance. And so our GR School, Shaw School of Business has a couple of different programs in which finance is located. And so we also have the Applied Financial Services Certificate, and that's where Rochelle did her program as well. So for our finance program, we have both the diploma and the degree program. You can finish it in either 2 years or 4 years. And if you already have a background in business, such as a diploma or a previous education in a degree in business, you can actually start off in your 3rd year and finish off a degree in just 2 years here in Canada. So as you'll see with most of our programs here at NAIT, experiential learning is really huge. So we have things like business case competitions available for students, simulations such as this picture here, which is actually from the Applied Financial Services program, where we simulate a real bank and the situation of how it's like to process through customers at a bank. We have real customers that are kind of student actors, or sometimes we bring in industry as well to be actors as customers, so that students can experience what it's like to be working in a bank. We have networking opportunities where we bring in partners from different industry, and we have our students interact in these situations with our different industry partners, as well as projects and such, where our students could be taking part in different things where our industry partners have perhaps a solution where they need it, something that we can do a project on. And so you can see here at the bottom, here are the different areas that we have. So for example, the Apply Financial Certificate is a one-year program with start dates of September and January. Employment rates for this program is really good. For our graduates, the previous years, over basically 100% of them were able to get a job, and a starting salary of 42,000 Canadian per year. For those in the business administration diploma, we do have 3 start dates of September, January, and May, and the employment rates and the medium salary are really good for both that and the bachelor program as well. So I think that's pretty much all I was going to say today. I just wanted to give you a very brief introduction to some of the programs that we have here. And now I'll pass the time off to Sheena and Max to talk a little bit more about the finance industry.
Thank you so much, Eden. I have a question or two later on about some programs that you just listed, so we'll get to that a little later. But Max, you're up with me. And for everyone listening in, I want to, when we hear finance, we're thinking money, but put that into perspective academically and then realistically. Tell us about finance. What is finance?
Okay, so finance, that's a good question that we get a lot, actually. Finance is a marriage between economics and accounting. And so when we think about accounting, right, like people say, what's the difference between accounting and finance? And what we say usually is accounting is involved in making the financial statements, so creating financial statements and understanding the financial statements. Finance, what we do is we take those financial statements and then find ways to make money. And so that's the big difference. It's like we don't worry so much about creating the financial statements, but using those financial statements as a tool to make money for our clients. That's the main goal of finance, I would say.
Okay, so in real terms, because I just filed taxes, right? When my accountants look at my financial statements and tell me accounting wise what I'm doing wrong, you're going to take what those statements and not tell me what not to do and say, okay, this is how much more money we can make with it.
Basically. Exactly. So it has a lot to do with wealth management for sure. I can show you, Will. I usually, can I share my screen?
Yeah, of course you can.
So here, I want to show you. Let me see if I can see it because it's not working for me for some reason. Let me just see if I can close it. Sorry, there's technical difficulties here. Here we go. Okay, let me try again. We have a lot. Actually, well, I wish I could show you the screen right now, but it's not working for me.
That's okay.
Let me see. Yeah. Let me see here. Is that working?
It's coming. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we have, these are all the occupations usually our students get. They can be, the biggest two are financial planner and financial analyst. And so you would ask, okay, what's the difference between being a financial planner and a financial analyst? Financial planners are the ones that help you with your money. So these are the ones that you go to the bank and say, hey, I want to get married in 10 years, or I want to send my kids to university. How do I do that, right? And so those are the financial planners. They are the ones that are good with people, are good with money, and they're also able to establish relationships of trust. So you have to make sure that your clients trust you. So that's the biggest, I would say, advantage for people, who are able to create those kind of relationships in finance. A financial analyst, on the other hand, has to do with corporations and companies. So what they'll do is they'll look at companies' financial statements and they will say, okay, what can we do? Is there a way that we can make money off of this situation, or the stock market, or the company's stock and stuff like that? So yeah, those are the biggest, I would say, professions that you can get as finance, but that doesn't mean it's the only ones. There's so many. In finance, usually you have retail, which has to do with anything that has to do with banking, and then you have the corporate side, which is financial analysis. But there's a broad band of professions, and if you go to this website, you can see it. I just can't open it for some reason. Here we go. Maybe we can. Can you guys see it?
No, I think.
No? Okay. Okay, let me just try again, which is really nice. That's why I want to share it with you. New share, here we go. Okay, let's see if this will work. Here we go. So this is what I was saying. So the institutional side, when you look, yeah,
a little bit of
yeah,
it.
yeah. So this is all the top part is all the corporate side. So if you can be a research analyst, fixed income trader, that's bonds, equity trader, investment banker, fixed income sales, equity sales. So you have all of this in the institutional side. So if you want to be a financial analyst, basically. You can also, some of our students go to the back office. This is being basically in clearing. So treasury jobs, those are the back office jobs. And those are very important, particularly in compliance. And here you have also middle office, compliance, risk management. So all of these are things that you can do in banks and in corporations. And now on the retail side, you have everything that has to do with advising, right? Wealth management, sales assistants, associate advisor. But there are so many career options that, really the sky's the limit for you. The other thing is that I want to show you is that we have students that ended up going to master's programs. So in McGill University in Quebec and University of Toronto. So you can continue your studies. This is not the end of the road. So if you want to have your degree in finance and then continue on to a master's, you can definitely do that. We have students that have gone on to medical school. So that's also another option. And also we have students going to law school. So there's quite a few options that you have as a Bachelor of Finance at NAIT.
Sheena, you muted.
Sorry, thank you, Max, for showing us those bevy of options that students have. And so basically summarizing, finance really is looking at trends and how a business or individual will spend money, and you take it to see how they can make more money, and they can do it from the point of view as a financial planner, which might look more at the individual level. Then when you go into more analysis level, you're looking at corporations with more.
Oh, wow, you summarize it amazingly. That's exactly it. Yes.
So there are lots of possibilities, and you don't even have to stick within finance. You could take that knowledge and transfer it and go on to higher level education, whether it's a master's degree or moving over to law. Law will make a lot of sense to me as well. And people discount medicine because a lot of doctors are entrepreneurs. So having a background in finance would be also crucial. So there are lots of things you can do, pathways that you can go with finance. So I want to ask you, my next question is, okay, so sometimes with undergraduate students, especially those coming from high school, they say, for example, they want to be an actuary, but there are not many. Do you have to do like an actuarial science degree to become an actuary? What would be your advice to them? Would it be better to look at a finance degree and then go into something so specialized like that?
Yeah, for actuary, I would recommend to get actuary, for example. But what I would say, the advantage that we get in finance is that we really work with people. If you really like people, I would say that's the best option for you, finance. If you like people and you like money, and most people like money, so that's I would say definitely. That's why I would say if you're interested in relationships with people and managing money, I think that's a good option.
That's a good option.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure. I think it's you can definitely move on to doing something with actuary science, but yeah, in finance, the major things that we do is basically financial planner and financial analyst. But there's other alternatives besides that, right?
So for students looking to pursue finance, what are the usual requirements for them coming into a finance program? And let's use NAIT obviously as an example. So if I'm coming from high school, what subject should I take?
So we have Eden, and Eden can help me with this. I think it's math 30 and English 30, 55% are the requirements. So it's not too taxing to get in. We also have academic upgrading. We offer, so if you don't have the right courses that you need to take, you can take them with NAIT, and we offer, maybe Eden can add to that.
I was just going to say that in Caribbean terms, if you're talking English and math, we're looking at CSEC, grades 1 to 3. So as long as you have grades 1 to 3 in English and math, you will qualify for our business diploma program. If you want to get into the degree program, we do need 5 subjects. So that includes English, math, and 3 other subjects, all in CSEC as well, between 1 to 3 grades.
1 to 3. Okay, so it looks, so you can come straight from CSEC.
Mhm.
If persons are coming with the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, so CAPE, will they, could they also look at it? And if they're coming with CAPE, would you more recommend doing a degree or doing a diploma? Does it matter?
It doesn't actually change anything for us. We see the CAPE as the same as the CSAC, actually. Mhm.
Okay, so Rochelle can attest to this. In the Caribbean, we're very university minded. Is university, so it is bachelor, master's, PhD in a lot of cases. What as a faculty member and teaching, dealing with the students in the classroom, what advice would you give to parents who are more thinking of, I want a university? How can NAIT prepare those students the same way that, say, a University of Toronto can do?
That's a question we get often too. Thank you for asking that question. What I would say is university and polytechnic are different in that polytechnic, we concentrate more on hands-on education. So university, for example, you will take first and second year, you would take a lot of general interest courses like, ecology, art, music. So those are usually what happens in university. You get a really, how do you say, broad education, and then the basis for your degree comes later on. For us in a polytechnic, we both focus on business from day one. So that's the advantage that we have, is that we focus specifically on the courses that are related to the business, that the program, right, the specific program. And then we have a very close relationship with industry. So what we do that is different from university is that we bring industry into our curriculum. So for example, we ask industry, what do the students need to know so that you hire them? And so that's how we start building our curriculum. We build from the feedback from industry. So industry tells us, well, they need to know this and that. And so we include it in our curriculum. And that doesn't happen in universities, right? They don't care what industry says, but I mean, they might, but for us, it's a very close relationship. And the third aspect I would say that's different from a university is that we really want you to get a job in an industry. So we really help you. We really set you up to meet industry. We have a few things that we do. For example, we have a mock interview event, which is one of the biggest events of the year for our school. And basically we invite everyone in finance in Alberta, and we make you interview with real industry professionals in a mock interview. So the nice thing about that is that they tell you what you can do better next time. And one of the things that we understand is that usually doesn't happen, right? When you go to an interview for a job and you never hear back, it's very rare that they will tell you, okay, what went wrong, right? Or what could you do to improve, unless you specifically ask. So those are some things that we help you. We also have a student managed investment fund so that students can actually manage real money. And we are the first polytechnic in Canada to have that. So it was a very, I don't know, amazing project that we got together, and with the CFA Society of Edmonton, they gave us money so that the students could actually learn by doing. So if you ask me what is the big difference between university and polytechnic, is that we learn by doing, and we have very close connections with industry. I hope that answered your question. I don't know. Yeah.
Because usually I always tell persons, when you go to university, you read for your degree. And essentially that is in a very literal sense, you read for a degree. And so polytechnic, if you see the technical aspect of it, means more hands-on practicing how you're going to learn. Now, for a Caribbean mommy and a Caribbean daddy, and I know Rochelle will know this is familiar thought, they're thinking, well, if I'm going to invest, I want a degree, because that's in our minds, that is our thinking. Now, can you explain how, even with a 2-year or 3-year diploma, they still have mobility into the job market?
For sure. So definitely that's a great question. The first thing I can say is that our 3 credentials stagger. So they stack up together. So for example, if you start with the Applied Financial Services certificate, which is 1 year, you can then go into the finance diploma with another year and you finish your diploma. And then once you have your diploma, you can also do your degree in 2 years. But you can work. So for example, a lot of our students in Canada, what they do is once they finish, for example, a diploma, they will work for a couple of years, get work experience, and then come back and finish their degree. Some of our students go into, for finance, there's no discussion. You must have a degree, particularly if you want to be a CFA. So if you want to be a chartered financial analyst, you have to have a degree. And so if you know that's the route you want to take, go straight into the degree. For financial planners, the CFP, they still need a degree, but they have more time and there's more flexibility. So what the diploma does, it lets you get jobs that are entry jobs. They get you into the door, but in order to get promoted, you need to get a degree. So eventually you need the degree. So that's what I would say, but you have time and they all stack up together.
But you're reinforcing that is when persons are therefore looking to choose a program, they also have to do some career research as well, so that they marry both the career part with the education part. So it seems that you must make some career sense of any kind of higher education that you're going to invest in or start to do. So for all of you listening out there, do your research, not just on your home country, but the country you're going to as well, especially if there are opportunities for you to work during or afterwards, because you have to align yourself with industry standards. You know, Eden, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just want to jump in about the staggering thing because it's actually a really interesting one for international students, right? Because after 2 years of your study permit and graduating from a diploma in Canada, you can apply for a postgrad work permit. And during that period, you can apply for permanent residency. So if that's the path you're taking, you do your 2-year minimum, get your postgrad work permit, apply for permanent residency, and then go back to finish up your degree. At that point, your degree will be cheaper for you because now you are a permanent resident. And I think this is actually a path that many of our students will take because during that period, you're working in the industry, you're understanding if this is really for you. I mean, even for some students who go through a degree program, perhaps they would try to do it in 4 years, but maybe perhaps after 2 years, they realize it's not for them. At that point, they can't really drop out because there's nothing they can get for it. But if you do it this way, you can at least get a diploma, try working in the field, and then go back into it after. So it does give you actually more flexibility and more options, and you are able to get jobs, as Max is saying. It's just, it does end up being an entry-level job, but it does get your foot in the door, you know? So if you're thinking money saving, this could actually be a pretty nice pathway for them.
So your return on investment is higher sometimes depending on your budget, what you're coming to do. It makes sense to start with a 2-year and then stack up as you go along, especially if you're not sure. I want to invest in 4 years if I'm not sure.
Exactly.
I'll take a risk on 1 or 2. And that's just, you know, I'm not frugal, but I'm, you know, money sensible. And so, you know, it makes sense. Yes, Max.
And one of the things I usually, I used to, not anymore, but I used to admit international students into finance, and I would see a lot of their credentials. And one of the things Eden pointed out that really struck a chord with me is that whatever you do, make sure you finish your credentials. So, for example, that's a good thing that NAIT has, that if you're not committed to 4 years, you can finish a diploma in 2 years, and then that never expires. So that diploma never expires. But if you, for example, you go to university and do 3 years and don't finish, those courses expire after 10 years. So that's the big difference between not finishing a credential and finishing a credential. So if you're not interested in 4 years right off the bat, what you can do is do 1 year or 2 years, particularly for immigration, 2 years you need so you can get the postgraduate work permit. And then if you want to do the degree, you can do that too. But definitely, yes, it's I forgot the word I was gonna say. But yeah, but it's definitely flexible. Like you don't have to commit to 4 years. Make sure you finish whatever you start. So if you do the diploma, finish the diploma. If you do the degree, finish the degree. But the big difference, I would say, between a polytechnic and a university is that if you finish the diploma, that stays forever. So that's 2 years. Versus if you do 2 years of a university degree, that will expire after 10 years or 7 years, depending on the university.
That has me sold, but also the fact that there's free healthcare. So and no sales tax. So I'm sold on Alberta. So we have to, after this meeting, we have to talk about me coming to Alberta for a visit. So we'll get into that a little later. I have another question, one last question for you, Matt. And this pertains to some of the programs at NAIT. So I know that with a lot of industries, there are professional designations that are separate and apart from an academic program. So are there any programs offered in the finance programs offered that allow students to either automatically be able to take the exam for a professional designation or give them any incentives or help give them credits or exemptions towards any particular type of finance designation?
Definitely, I have here some to show you. One sec here. Where is my PowerPoint? Yeah, so we have a lot of partnerships, I want to say. The first one, the biggest one, is our CFA University Recognition Program. And what it does is at least 70% of the exam content, the body of knowledge for the CFA, is covered in our degree. So you have all the things that you need to know for the CFA are taught while you're doing your degree. And then you can take your exam. That is the biggest partnership because we're part of the University Recognition Program. And again, we were the first polytechnic in Canada to be recognized into the CFA. You get scholarships. So we can give you scholarships. So the CFA waives most of the exam fees. So that is pretty cool, I would say. Then the other designation we have is a certified financial planner. And that you can get, there's two designations. There's one that you can get through the diploma, that is 2 years, that it's a qualified associate financial planner. And then the other one is the CFP, or the certified financial planner proper, and you have to do that through our degree. So you have options. Basically, if you want the CFA, if you want to be a financial analyst, you have to go to the degree. But if you want to be a financial planner, then you have options. You can do the finance, the AFS, or better, the diploma, and then you can do the degree if you want.
Okay, that's really good knowledge to have. I want to thank you, Matt, for answering my questions and giving us some really great insight on the field of finance. The different.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited, to be talking to you guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we have to have you definitely back, Eden. So you got to bring Max with you to the Caribbean so that he can speak to students, because he will be some person that they're going to touch in the classroom as well. So we're going to move on now to Rochelle. So I'm going to stop and Eden's going to take back over and she's going to talk to Rochelle about her experience being a student at NAIT.
Sure, thanks, Sheena. That was super insightful. Actually, I'm learning a lot of things too through Max, so this is really great. I was actually taking some notes on the side. Okay, all right. So Rochelle, yeah, actually, Rochelle and I go a little back because we actually met online at a recruitment fair, right, during the pandemic, and I didn't realize that until later. That it was her. So it was really exciting to see that, hey, she is here and she got through the whole pandemic mess and arrived here. And so that was very exciting. Rochelle, do you mind just kind of sharing your journey? How did you decide to come here, really? How did you end up here?
Hi, everybody. So as Eden said, my journey started during the pandemic. So I think Canada has always been on our minds. We just didn't act on it. But I remember after having my daughter, I decided that I wanted to make the move because it wasn't about me again, and I wanted an opportunity for her. So back home in Jamaica, I used to work in corporates. I used to work with one of Jamaica's only utilities company, that's for electricity. And I remember I went back to work in January, and I think I wanted a change. I wanted a new job and stuff like that. And come February, pop, Canada came in my mind. So I started researching. I did a vision board and school, it was road to Canada, and school was my route, right? And I remember shortly after, so this was February, March, boop, the pandemic came to Jamaica. The COVID-19 was in Jamaica, so that kind of, well, for me, it didn't halt stuff. I still started the process, but when I really, really started was June. I remember I applied to NAIT in June, May, June. Yeah. After I met Eden, of course, on the web at the webinar. And I got through, I think in August or September, and I put through my application. And here I am. I was successful. Right. So that's it really started. And I came with my daughter at the time. She was about 18 months when we came here, and my husband.
And I think you actually applied for January start. Was I right? You
Yes,
came in the middle of winter.
right in the middle of winter. I came in Edmonton's harsh weather.
What was that like for you?
Not good. You know,
Bit
leaving
of a
the
shock.
warm Caribbean coming here. It was blissful. It was nice, but cold. Very, very cold, and there was snow everywhere. As a matter of fact, it was snowing on the day that we came. But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, because I think you said you came in February, but then your program actually started first before you came. Was that right?
By the time I was allowed to do school back home, so I started school in January, and we came up with February. Because at that time too, there was a block, Canada blocked all flights to the Sun cities, and the Caribbean was a part of it. Right.
Yeah. How was that transition like going from online classes to, I guess when you came here, you still were in online classes then?
It was still online. It's just that the time zones have been a little bit better. It's not so bad, but it was a little bit better. Since Edmonton was 2 hours, Alberta is 2 hours behind, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing a bit about your classes, I guess, after you came here and what that was like in person? I'm assuming you had in-person classes eventually.
Yes, so I had in-person classes. Class was it was exciting because after seeing most of my classmates online for so long, it was finally good to actually see them in person. I remember when I went to class, there was one guy who was like, "You were so tall." Everybody was shocked because it's always city, but he was really tall. But the classes were really good though. The class size were not too big, so, and even if it was, they split it, so you didn't have a lot so it was more student focused, so I like that about it. What else do I mention? It was very hands-on, I can tell you that. Max mentioned about a lot of it, so he's not lying. I'm a student, I can tell you. I even had a mentor, like I had somebody within industry that I had to speak with, and I had to do I had to journal. So you can't, like, you have to say that, okay, I spoke with this person, this is what we discussed. So I had that person talking with. And as he said, we do have mock interviews. We have this thing that's called, I don't remember the name right now, but we get to meet industry persons. So right on the spot, you could land a job right there, because talking to persons, you can land a job. So we heard from this. So I do finance. So we heard from different persons within different industries, from persons who own their own business, to banks, to credit unions, to whatever that's finance and account related. We got to meet those persons. So you get a feel to know, like, okay, I could probably fit in here, or if I don't like that. So they'll basically tell you what they do on a day-to-day basis and what their job entails. So that was good. Classes, as I said, so at NAIT, for my program, I did the AFS program. We actually have an actual bank where we go to classes. So you get to do industry stuff. You practice. So today I might be customer, tomorrow you might be the rep or stuff like that. So you get actual hands-on practice. You get real money too, right? So you get to learn the currency
Count.
of us, right? Here, I wouldn't understand the money. First, I thought Canada's money was real, I thought it was plastic. But eventually you'll get to understand, because working and feeling the money, it helps out. So that was good as well. And the teachers were pretty understanding. I must tell you this though, that it's very it's robust. Like the work is a lot, so prepare to work. The workload can be heavy. Not can be. The workload is heavy. I mean, you have quizzes, you have exams, you have mid semesters, you have projects. It's a lot, but it's good. Also, another thing that Max mentioned was getting certification. So the program that I do, once you're finished, you're able to do the CSI course, kind of security course. You're able to do that to be certified. So the program comes with that aspect as well, which is good because most times when you leave and if you're going to apply for a job, they'll ask you to have that certificate. So at least you'll already be prepared with it. So that's kind of compulsory. Well, it's there. You're given it. You're allowed to do it within a year. So why would you not do it? Because if you go, you're gonna have to pay for it afterwards. So it just makes sense to do it with the school. Other than that, I'm just trying to see if I left out anything. I spoke about my mentor, love space, industry people. Yes. Any other questions from the Eden?
No, that's great. Ashina, did you have a question?
I do. I have some non-school related questions
Mhm.
when I
Okay.
first start. So we do our fairs all the time, and we have an immigration session with the government of Canada, and there are lots of questions from persons who want to travel with children and a spouse. And
Mhm.
so how was this process for you? And now that you've successfully gotten there, like what is your spouse doing, and how do you manage childcare? Because you said your son or daughter
Daughter. Mm-hmm.
was 18
Daughter.
months. So that's a baby. That's almost a fresh, brand new showroom, fresh baby still. So how did you manage childcare? So tell us about that. And not that I'm prying in your business, but
That's
just
okay. It's reality. Persons want to know. So luckily for me, when I came, I had classes online still. So I was able to keep her while I'm home. And the other aspect was that when I came here, I was still doing my job from back home before I transitioned to working here. So that also helped me out. When I started working here, though, I was very specific with the job that I was looking for because I knew I had her, so I was trying to find online jobs. I did get a work that was a work from home, so that also helped. So for childcare, it wasn't so bad. However, when I started going into school, I had help. Well, not help. I had help rather, where I'd have somebody keep her. So it wasn't a daycare, but I was able to have someone to watch her while I get back home and stuff like that. So it wasn't the official daycare.
what about your husband? He's working?
Yes, he is working. When he just came here, he got a job with his friend. So he was working there, but then that was kind of like a seasonal job. So he
Right.
changed it over altogether. And he got a job through an agency.
Okay.
And when he started working at a location, after 3 or 4 months, I think, they took him on. So he's been there since
Okay.
and he's doing good.
So
Yeah.
it is possible. So I know sometimes it's hard when you're sitting at home not knowing because it's so much uncertainty and some anxiousness. So
Yeah.
it can work. We've all seen it work, but it's good to
Mhm.
hear from someone going through it now,
No.
and to know that this is very possible. So how long did it take for you to get back your response for your visa?
I applied in September and I got through November, November 25th to be exact.
Okay, that's decent. It's about
It was a good time for the pandemic, huh?
so especially for the pandemic, there were so many delays. So that
Yeah.
is great. My next question for you now is, okay, so what's the after? So obviously you're doing this for a purpose. So there's a
Mhm.
bigger picture here. What are your plans for yourself career-wise? Will you see yourself staying in Alberta or moving on?
No, I'm staying in Alberta. And you hear all the perks of living in Alberta. Where am I going? So yeah. My plan is to actually apply for PR. That is my plan and to grow. So currently I work at the bank. I work at TD, and I hope to see myself growing within the next few months, not too long, right? My plan is to stay here and make life here. It's been good so far. I can't compare to any other. So when person say, "Why are you living in Alberta?" Because it's cold. I'm like, the entire Canada is cold. Get with the program. Get with the program, right? So, you're just for the weather and you move on.
good because normally people are Ontario bound, so they look at Ontario as their first reference point. That's where Toronto is, Ottawa. So those are like be more relatively known. I mean, we know of Calgary and so forth, but one person, and even Edmonton, yes, but people still, it's not a natural reference point. So you could understand person's hesitation, like Alberta. So tell us your flight path there. So how many planes and how long it took? And you're talking to somebody that travels a lot, but terrified to fly. So break this down.
It took very long. So there are two planes. So there's one from Kingston to Toronto, and then from Toronto to here. I think the flight from Kingston is 4 hours, and the flight to here from Toronto to here is it's shy for 4 hours. So it's it's pretty much 8 hours. By the way, I had an overnight flight, so I came tonight, so I didn't leave until the following morning.
Okay.
During that time, though, that's because of the pandemic, so flights weren't so
Right.
often. So I think now it's much better,
Much better.
but it is still long. And you touched on a point about persons probably not choosing, like here they might go to the Toronto, the more city life, but I didn't want to go there. I was total opposite. I never wanted to go to the city. I wanted to come to the more suburban areas. So I had some friends here, and I spoke to them. I was like, I want to come up and I want to come here. And not only that too, I thought I wanted support. So me having someone that was already there would have made my transition a lot easier. Like this is me packing up my entire life, moving. I don't want it to be hard or harsh. So I tried to find as much support as possible. So that's why I came here. So my choices though when I was coming here was to choose between Norcus or NAIT, and clearly I chose NAIT. They won the bid. and so I came here for that reason.
All right. Well, I'm going to put a pin there. I want to thank you, Rochelle, for sharing your story. Thank you, Eden. Thank you, Max. I want to move to some questions quickly, and Rochelle, congrats to you and all your hard work. It's going to pay off. Moving your family is not an easy feat, and, keep flying, flying high. And I hope that you achieve all that you want to achieve as you make your journey in Canada and settle a new life for yourself and your family. So kudos to you on that, and thanks for sharing your story, because I know some people are like, a little too, maybe a little shy.
Yeah.
I don't want you in my business, but thank you for sharing
You're
that
welcome.
information. So we have some questions, so let's get to some questions. So we have a question here from Aaliyah, who lives in Barbados. So okay, you're where I am. Hi, Aaliyah. She said, I'm considering studying at NAIT. I'm either thinking of studying accounting or finance. I am also interested in baking and pastry arts, or a program in TV or music. Well, we got a lot of options here. I have 6 CXC certificates, and also I just finished my last semester at community college. So therefore, I will soon receive my associate degree in accounting and marketing. She has certificates in music as well. She wants to know how to get started on the application and how to choose the right program. So I'm going to leave that to you, NAIT folks, whoever wants to jump in to help Aaliyah make a decision here. Go on, Max.
I can help with, hi Aliyah, I can help with how to choose the right program. It really, I don't think there's choosing a wrong program. I think, all programs are good. Accounting or finance, like I said, we usually get that question a lot. And the big difference is accountants, they are the ones that create the financial statements. So you do all the accounting statements. Sorry, 1 second here. Sorry, that's my son. Okay. So accounting does the financial statements, and then in finance, what we do is really use those financial statements to make money or help people achieve their goals, right? Their financial goals, like I want to get married, I want to go to university, I want to have kids. How do I make that possible? And there's a lot of problem solving. So that's I would say finance versus accounting, but they're both great careers. At NAIT, they're very good. They're very good choices. Also, I want to say pastry baking. We have a great baking program. Eden can attest to that. I think we have one of the best culinary schools in Canada, I would say very easily. And so, yeah, like there's no wrong program. I would say always try to choose, what you really feel you like. And if you already have an associate degree, is that two years? I think you can also apply to get credit so you can start get an advanced standing, right? So you can start in year 3 and just finish your degree in 2 years. And now I'll leave that to Eden to see, how to get started on the application. I think she's the expert there.
Sure, thanks, Max. I think you're getting me out of a job. You're really good at this. No, but this is awesome. Yeah, I think I agree with Max really, Leah. Like when it comes to choosing a program, actually you're looking at the end of the day, right? Like what would you like to do with your life? Like what kind of career choice would you like to make? And if you move into baking or pastry arts, your day is going to look quite different. You're probably going to start maybe 5 a.m. in the morning because you're going to be baking first thing in the morning, right? Versus maybe possibly a 9 to 5 job if you're going into business. If you're going into television, we actually also have a television program, which is really great here at NAIT as well. And that, again, will look very different for you. One tool, if I may, and I'll put that in the chat later, we have a Find Your Future quiz here at NAIT. It's a bit like a personality quiz. It goes backwards. So it talks about, hey, do you like to work with people? Do you like to work by yourself? Do you like to work outside? Do you like to work in an office? So those kind of things. And then we'll give you a bit of a short list of some possible programs that you might want to then look at again after. Another suggestion that I may have is really just to talk to other people who are already in these careers. I always suggest, if you're able to job shadow a little bit, do that, right? And that will give you a better sense of what you think it is versus what they actually do. And that's actually quite important as well. To us, choosing the right program is super important because, we want you to continue and finish your credential. We don't want you to start one semester and be like, oh crap, I actually really don't like this, and then go somewhere else. So this is important and this is a big choice for you. So definitely do as much research as you can. I can't really tell you because I don't know what you might like. So there are resources that are available for you that you can try that. When it comes to actual starting the application, I also have tools. I can send a link out later as well. And you can just follow through. There is a video, step-by-step video. I'm not going to bore you guys with the details, but application fee is $115. You do have to submit your CSAC certificates to us eventually, first online and then the physical copies eventually. In a nutshell, it's an online application and then you send us your details after. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And Aaliyah, since you have a lot of varied interests, I do definitely recommend you doing some type of career assessment. So if NAIT, the tool that Eden mentioned is helpful, and then be strategic. Every one of your passion is not a passion you want to commodify. So some of your interests and passions might be something as a stress reliever. Not everything you're passionate about you want to make money from or can make money from initially. So be strategic about it, which this investment has to yield some type of return, and the return you have to depend on what kind of outcome you're looking for, whether it's a good job at a decent pay, being able to branch out on your own to entrepreneur at some point, or have multiple streams of income, whether you are employed or self-employed, a mixture of both. So you have to ask yourself, of the interests that I have, which one I believe is worth investing in terms of getting that technical skill and know-how, and then if I invest that skill, how far is it going to take me? So you can line them up and then have you got to be realistic. I'm a very frank person and a very realistic person. So I am past spending all this money and not getting any cheddar. It has to bring me some dough. So I can maybe invest in the finance and accounting, because there's always a barrage of financial and accounting jobs that will pay my way to practice my baking until the baking takes off, or help bake on the side to make money to pay for the finance and accounting credentials. So this is practical, being practical and realistic, not cutting a dream, but you can have it. You can have it all if you really want to, but you have to plan for it. So definitely make use. Eden just dropped the link into the chat. We have another question here. Hi, I'm Janelle from Trinidad and Tobago. Hi, Janelle. Thank you for joining us. I would like to work and study in Canada. However, I have 5 CSET subjects and I'm completing a diploma in business management from the UK, which is equivalent to an associate degree. I'm interested in tech stream or behind the scenes within the media industry. I have a lot of experience in the media industry, as well as 8 years administrative or clerical experience. Any advice or suggestions? Rochelle, Matt, Eden, what do we have to tell Janelle today?
I'm actually thinking of something along the lines, even though this is not so much just about business, but because the student has a business background, we do have a digital media and IT stream that's called IT Business Analyst that combines a bit of both. So you can work in the IT industry, but as you probably know, for all IT personnel, they need a business person to explain to them what they really need in their terms. So this person can be the in-between. They find out what is needed in terms of businesses, processes, and then translate that for the IT industry, like your IT sector. So that could be something you want to look into because it kind of ties in something about your background, but isn't going like 180 switch away from some of your previous education. So that would be my first thought. But I think, again, doing that quiz, finding out more things about what really you like would be a really good thing to do as well.
Anyone else want to jump in?
There's another question too from Jamal.
Oh, he's also looking at an application and job opportunity in Canada. But Jamal, tell us a little bit more.
If you scroll up, it says I live in Guyana and I'm also considering starting at NAIT.
Oh,
yeah, I'm looking for studies, yeah, in engineering or management.
Oh, hi, Jamal from Guyana. Thank you for joining us. Okay, engineering or management. What type of engineering? Oh, he has a BSc in electrical engineering and a diploma from the Technical Institute in Electronics. I'm currently working as a service technician in the oil and gas industry for the past 3 years. Okay, so what would you suggest, Eden? Engineering in Alberta makes sense because of the kind of industries that are out in Alberta. So what do we have for Jamal today?
Yeah, so he has a bachelor in electrical engineering. And if we want to continue working in the oil and gas industry, you can. We have quite a lot of programs that fit into that. You know, we have chemical engineering technology, petroleum engineering technology. We also have electrical engineering technology if you want to work in something similar with what you did. I also like to promote this other program that's called the Bachelor of Technology program. So it is actually in the School of Business. And I think we've talked a little bit about this previously on some of our sessions, but the nice thing about that program is it takes whatever you were studying before and give you elevated management level kind of learning. So it's a bit like a leadership course for engineers and technicians. So you don't lose out on what you've previously learned, but then you gain additional experience. And that's really good for study permit applications as well. It is just kind of like a value add-on. So you could stay in your field. And then when you're here, you're looking into kind of a managerial level, supervisory level for a similar field of what you were doing previously. So I can again, maybe put my email in here. You know, if we want to talk further, definitely happy to have a conversation over an appointment. And yeah, Max, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, and definitely what Eden is saying, definitely oil is huge in Alberta, so there's lots of opportunity there. Also, one thing I want to say, and I don't know, Eden might back me up or not, I'm not sure. I think those are very competitive, those programs. And so a lot of times what people do is, let's say you apply to power engineer, which is like very difficult to get in. They also apply to the School of Business, because if they don't get into power engineering, they have a better chance of getting into business. And that's something they want to do anyway. So I would say, even though you're interested in the oil technologies or the engineerings, feel free to apply, make sure you have a chance, but also have a backup. And we always say, you know, if you're interested in business, apply to business, because it's way easier to get into business than get into engineering. Engineering is very, very competitive.
Good advice, Max. Jamal, I hope you took heed to the information provided to you today. We're coming up to the top of the hour. If anyone has one more question at least before we close off, let's see. I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask your question, but in the meantime, what I will say is we've learned a lot today about finance. And as Eden said in the first couple of slides, you know, there's a lot of opportunity Alberta offers. There are lots of perks to studying in Alberta. That no sales tax and free healthcare has me won over already. But on top of that, NAIT offers a lot of hands-on technical type programs. So if you are a type of person that just want to get straight into what you're studying, you don't want too much fluff, you want to get into your studies, you also are the type that learns where you have to practice so that it cements into your brain, then this is the type of environment for you, the type of institution for you. For those coming in with post-secondary, NAIT is very advantageous for you guys, because quite often what happens in a lot of other institutions, you don't get a lot of credit for what you've done already. So there are mechanisms in place to absorb a lot of what you've done and cut your school time down. You can start off in year 3, which is not always the case across the board. So take advantage of that. You know, I invite you to look on the CutFest International website. I'm going to pop the website in here. This is a dedicated website powered by the Student Center. This is our education fair website. We have an ongoing directory there. You can take a look. NAIT is listed on that. They have their own page. There's even a contact form that if you sign up on the contact form, it goes straight to Eden as well. So you can feel free to reach out to her there. Yes, Janelle, this session is recorded. Give us some time to get this ready. We have some editing to do, but we might put the whole session up on our YouTube channel and you can take your time and review it, but we're going to chop it up at some point. For those of you who might not want to view the whole length of the session, this is about an hour long. So we will get that whole session up on our YouTube channel within a week or so. So we'll reach out to you then. If there aren't any more questions, I think I want to tell everyone, thank you for your time. Thank you for spending this time with me this evening. I really appreciate it. Rochelle, good luck with all your studies, to you and your family. Max, out in Argentina for now on possible vacay. Enjoy your time home, and safe travels back to Canada when you do go. Eden, it's always a pleasure. I know that we will speak again soon. I want to take this time to thank all those who joined this evening, all those who peeped in on Facebook. You've been really a great crowd. Thank you so much. Keep checking the Student Center's websites, cupfestinternational.com for the next upcoming set of sessions. We have quite a few for July, and in August, we connect you with schools from across the globe. We help you to find, apply, and enroll. If you want to learn more about the Student Center directly, feel free to check out our website, www.thestudentcenter.net. Join our Facebook, our Instagram, and YouTube. We do a lot on Facebook. Instagram, we're still newish to it, but it's coming around. You can check us out on Instagram, but our websites are heavily trafficked. There's a lot of good resources and information on our CupFest and on our Student Center website to help you as you look for college and university options in Canada and across the world. So I want to thank everyone. Have a good evening. Stay safe. I don't know if you have any parting words, anyone?
We're looking forward to seeing you all here in Edmonton. Please let me know when you're here, and then I'll be welcoming you on campus.
I hope to be welcoming you to Barbados, Eden, for CupFest.
Oh, yes.
First in person in 2 years.
Yes, I can't wait.
CupFest this time will only be in Barbados. Everybody else can join us online. We're still going to be running it online, but the in-person will be in Barbados in November. So stay tuned to the other persons from other islands. Feel free to find out when next we're coming to your town. I know we do Guyana, and it's been 2 years, so hopefully sometime back we will get to go to Guyana. Again, one of my favorite countries to visit. Good evening, folks. Have a good evening. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. See you all.
Yes, hopefully St. Lucia. Good evening, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.